Options include mounting it here on the dash where it obstructs a lot of the view.
That I wouldn't like, yeah. It's the stand that it's on right now.
Well, this glues down. This is designed to go like that, and you just glue it down. But as I said, I don't like that because it obstructs some of the view. This is the location we ultimately chose. Because I modified the bracket so that it could be glued. It's held in place with a 3M product. I used Scotch Extreme fasteners, 10 pound. This is the same type of thing that's used to hold an easy pass on the windshield. It works quite well. So how does it work? Well, first of all, I have to power up the camera. And that is done here by turning on the either the parking, so-called running lights, or the headlights. Doing that, the next step is the monitor has to be powered up. Now there's two ways to do this. It could be done with a simple plug-in to the cigarette style lighter. I decided I didn't want that. I went with a switch, and this is documented in the rest of the videos. So we flip that up, we get a green LED, and there we go. It's powered up. Turning off the running lights gives you a blue screen. Turning them on gives you the backup camera. The monitor can be removed fairly easily. It has this bracket, which I inverted to do this, and it has a simple plug right here. This is a connector. We simply pull that and it's done. Then we unscrew this. Actually can't get it. So there we go. And the camera comes off. And now you can see the mounting of the bracket. What I had to do is trim. There were little rounded feet. I trimmed that with the Dremel Moto tool. There's different ways of doing it. I also stripped off the backing, which was a sticky foam that we discovered was totally inadequate. And so we used the Extreme, Scotch Extreme. I put in 4 pieces. That should hold this, and it really does. It's going nowhere. It has a swivel bracket, loosen it up, and it works great. The actual install of the toggles to control the cameras, and pulled off these little plates. They snap out. Fortunately, you can reach underneath with your hand, and that's how I did that. And it also allowed me to look inside and pull out this little rat's nest of wiring for the existing Eclipse radio and TomTom GPS, or as I fondly like to call it, Dum Dum. A couple of things are visible. This slot is all the way to the top, which means I can install a switch all the way up there. As you can see, the back of this is reinforced, so you want to drill holes, or I want to drill holes in places where I don't destroy the reinforcing. I'm going to mount the switches here. I popped these 3 out so I could see what was going on back there. I found all the wires. The way they make these vehicles, trying to get to the wiring is difficult, and it's also as short as possible. So I'll have to work. Now, what are we going to do here? Well, looking at this, these are labeled RN, VTRN, and things like that. And in the process of taking all of these wires out, I found this one is conveniently labeled camera. This is the connector that goes to the rear of the Eclipse, I assume, and this appears to be the connector which goes to the camera. And there's this green wire which goes to a purple. Purple is, I believe, a control wire for the camera. This is a green with white tracer. Did a little investigation on that, looking at the TomTom manual. This yellow wire, I nicked it slightly, put a voltmeter on it. It is an accessory wire. It's always on. And then we have kind of a red with a white tracer. This green with a white tracer, according to the Eclipse, I keep calling it TomTom. According to the Eclipse manual, the reverse signal is a green wire. Now I checked this with a voltmeter and to ground, and sure enough, with the engine running, put it in reverse, and this becomes a nominal 12 volts. So that does appear to be true. I assume therefore this purple wire goes to the rear and to the camera. I could actually probably go back there and open that up and see if it's got a purple wire. Of course, that doesn't tell me that the people that made this thing didn't switch the wiring somewhere. You know, they could have a termination point somewhere else. So yeah, the only thing I'm really looking for at this point to make all of this work would be the ground, which is supposed to be a black wire. So I'll poke around in here. Who knows? These do not appear to be that, but I haven't untaped this whole mess to see everything. My guess is it isn't, because this, although I'll check further, this goes to a USB Universal Serial Bus connector. That's one of them, and this I believe is an Apple iPhone 4 connector. Already obsolete, of course. That's the way it works with Apple. So there you go. I'll do a little more research, and then I'm going to start drilling holes and getting things put together. I found a black wire, and I very carefully nicked it. As you can see a little bit of the copper, I call it copper, the conductor. Anyway, I'm going to connect a lead to this. This may be ground, and we'll check the voltage to this. Attach the alligator clip to the black wire carefully to the conductor portion. The insulation, of course, won't allow me to conduct electricity. The other side of the alligator jumper is on the negative lead of my handy dandy Fluke 789 process meter, which is a voltmeter plus. Now we'll go to the center here carefully, and this has to be done carefully because you don't ever want to short these. And you see we have 12.74 volts. Okay, so here we go. I've installed the selectors for the monitors, the backup cameras, and what this does is two things. One, it enables this in the even when you're not backing up. So this is the way it did work. Selectors are in the center, which is deselected basically. You put it in reverse and you get a backup. You put it back in park and the backup camera goes away. Flip the switch and you get the same backup camera. So this time this camera will work even though we're not in reverse, which means we can use it to watch who's tailgating us, and that was the whole idea. The second camera also works, and we'll power it up. We'll get a no signal. This one is set up so that you have to have the parking light, the parking lights on, or at least headlights on. So if you want it to work, you turn this on, and that's what you get. So turn off the lights, and we're back into normal mode. And that's it. It's all done. Amazing. And this is the receiver. I have it exposed here. I'll probably put a little piece of sticky tape on the back of that. I want it here because I don't want it to be I want that antenna to have a clear path all the way to the rear of the van, so there's no issues attempting to get a good signal. That's it.